Welcome to another episode of the W12 podcast. We are on episode 23 at the end of a long season. Thank you all for tuning in. I think today we're just going to chew the fat of the season, pick out some highs, some lows, some ups and downs, possibly chat about the future. We've got a couple of good guests on today. So first, we welcome back Jack. Statman.
Yeah, how we doing? Good?
Very well. How are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah, good to be back.
It's been a while. Did you break your leg or something? Is that right?
Not quite, no. I had a bit of a minor knee surgery. It's getting on a bit, but that's pretty much my retirement.
Get yourself out here. I need some players. I'm on a team out here, so I need some players for my team.
I'm going to make the bench.
Keep it warm for me.
We're also joined by Mark Halsey. How are you? Ex-Premier League referee, QPR supporter. How are you?
All good, my friend. Season's not over for me. I'm still working on the Premier League and the newspaper, so season's not finished for me.
What are you doing at the moment over there?
Well, obviously I live out here at the moment. When I retired, I came out here with my family and my wife and daughter, and obviously I still work with the Sun newspaper. And other various outlets, being sports with Richard Keys and people like that. So yeah, still busy. I run a team out here as well.
How are they doing?
I'm a manager. We're not doing so well actually. We have a lot of problems with the refs. And I was cautioned yesterday for dissent.
I was going to say, what's it like being on the other side, being a manager?
Listen, don't complain about referees in the UK because the referees out here, oh dear. Anyway, no, they don't like the English. Definitely don't like the just don't like the way we play and the way we approach games and our tackling and things like that. It's every time our player goes in for a tackle, he gets cautioned.
You don't give it the old, "Do you know who I am?" Do you?
No,
do you know who I am?
No. They know who I am anyway. They come up to me because my daughter's fluent Spanish, so she's my interpreter. They come up to me and say, "Well, I'm refereeing this game, not you."
Fair enough. Well, we've got some questions to ask you during during the pod, so we'll try and touch on a bit of refereeing stuff a bit later. We've also got the usual suspects. Dunk, Brad, how are you both?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I'm good, boys. Good to see your faces again.
Brad, that air's getting out of control, mate. I know listeners can't see it, but it's noodles. What's going on, mate? Talk us through what's going on. Your missus cuts your hair, doesn't she? I said, I'm not even joking. Does she?
Yeah, anyway, let's talk QPR. Move on from this subject.
Right then. First things first. Swansea game. Good win in the end, wasn't it? Good performance. And it's just nice to end the season with a bit of a positive, especially for Warbs and a couple of the players that are leaving. I think it was a good little send-off for a couple of them. Dunk, what did you watch the game? What were your thoughts?
Yeah, well, obviously, speaking of players having a little send-off, Don Ball couldn't have wished for a better game, could he? I thought he was outstanding for us.
He's playing centre-back, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Free.
And he's had a really good game, so it was nice for him to get a little bit of a send-off and actually perform well during that. Obviously, Gray took his goal well, and it was on a plate for him. But I feel like you said, it was a fairly good performance. Senny was back in the team, clean sheet. He got in the team of the week, so
I love that.
Just shows you what we've been missing, doesn't it? I feel like I don't think we realised how big a blow Senny was. Even when people like Marshall, Westwood were having good games or fairly good games, they're just nowhere near Senny's level.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to see Senny back. My best friend Freddie Barber was the one that got him to QPR. He was a goalkeeping coach. He was at Bolton Wanderers, and now he's at Crewe Alexander. So I coached Senny as well with Fred. We used to come to the pro soccer camps with us. So because I used to be a goalkeeper in my old day, and he's a good lad.
When you say you got him there, what does that mean?
Well, Fred, found him in Switzerland by, obviously he comes from Switzerland, and he used to come over to the pro camp that Fred used to run in Stoke, and Fred just sort of coached him there and recognised his talent and asked around with, got a few agents involved and got him where he is now. So he's done. He's thank Freddie Barber for getting him to producing, coaching him and producing what we've got now. So we did miss him, to be fair.
It's just talking on the air. I know we spoke about it sort of at the start of last season, but his development is just amazing. It's amazing to think that we had him sat there. I don't know how, for years, didn't we? And he's been around for quite a few years.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, I mean, we used to go out before the pandemic. We used to go out every year to Switzerland and coach the goalkeepers. We used to have about 25, 30 keepers. We went out there for 5 days and solid goalkeeping training for 5 days. And there's some great talent across there. And obviously, Fred saw that and obviously came over here and trained with the pros. The pro week in Stoke. Fred used to run, and I think Senny's not looked back.
Let's just hope he's not one of the assets that goes and next season. Hopefully, no one comes in for him.
Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, why are we letting the likes of Don Ball go? Why? Young player. Why are we letting him go? Another one. It'd be nice to Sam McCullum, get him snapped up. I think what Wolves done superbly well with what he's got, and he's had hardly any money to spend, and it's going to be difficult next season. We've got to get in a top manager to wheel and deal over the summer.
There's a big chunk of the squad. We mentioned it last week. A big chunk of the squad leaving. Really, when you think about the loans, the players that are leaving on a free, and also there's going to be a couple of players going, isn't there? That the new manager won't want. That's already there. So it's going to be a big overall. Jack,
it is. And it's disappointing because when you look at, we used to be behind Chelsea as one of the top clubs in West London, but now we're miles behind Brentford, we're miles behind Fulham, and it hurts. It hurts. Can't see us getting above. I can't see us getting back unless we, start investing in young players, young talent, and spending a bit of money and bringing people to the club. Otherwise, we're going to go nowhere.
Yeah, you kind of feel like we're the West London side getting left out, or London side.
Absolutely. When I come on, started refereeing as a referee in the Football League. I was going to Brentford, who were in the old League Two, and Fulham, who were in the old, League Two as well. When I started refereeing in Football League, I used to go to Brentford and Fulham regularly. But now they've just gone above us, and it hurts to see every time we play Fulham, we get tanked, don't we? We get beat. Brentford as well. Every time we went to Brentford when they come in the Championship, we got beat. It's just not. It's not. I mean, the QPR fans must be feeling it. I know because my uncle's a season ticket holder. I remember my first ever game at Gate Loftus. My uncle lived in Loftus Road. We used to come out of his house, and the next door was Loftus Road. Out of his house into the ground at 5-3.
That'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
Oh, it was great. We used to come back out and straight into his house, have a sandwich and a cup of tea, and wait for the newspaper to come round on a Saturday night. Reading the old. Used to come around. I used to remember the old man coming around saying Standard Evening News. Used to get the papers and read the football reports on the game. So,
but
back a few years.
That goes to obviously, like I said on the last pod we've done, is we've just got to get this right. And the fans, if the board don't get this right, the new manager comes in, doesn't get this right, then they're going to lose some of the fans, not lose them support, but they'll just lose the morale the fans have got because, Wolves, I didn't think Wolves did terrible results, say different, but it's one of them, isn't it? We have to get this right now.
I think it was that spell, wasn't it? Was it the end of February, start of March, where we went so many games? We kept losing one after the other, and especially, if you look, I know you're going to talk about season reflections, but losing to Peterborough 3 times and losing to Barnsley, I think that was a nail in the coffin. I think, wasn't it, losing to those teams? And I think we went third. Did we go third once? We were third. I'm sure we were third, and then all of a sudden we just plummeted right down the league, didn't we? Plummeted.
Yeah, the conspiracy theorists, it's just after the transfer window ended, and then the form just tailed off, and you just, what worst performing team in the Championship by distance, and
it's a good job. It's a good job we had that run because otherwise we'd have been battling relegation. Do you know what I mean? So, but listen, I think of all the injuries and everything that was going on and no money, I thought he did do a terrific job, and it'd be interesting to see why, or I don't know. I haven't seen any reasons to say why he's decided to, to leave. I've not seen nothing. So,
well, I mean, it's rumours, isn't it? But it's to do. There was a little conflict in the club, isn't there, between sort of the board level and Warbs about the way forward. I think it's always difficult because you've got the pressure element. So Warbs is, the pressure to do well and not play the youth, whereas you've got Chris Ramsey and Les there trying to instigate using the youth that is there. But I'm not sure Warbs was sold on the quality of the youth players.
Just on the youth, like I was just talking before the pod, actually, QPR, in terms of minutes given to under 21 players, second fewest this season and the fewest the season before. So clearly Warburton didn't fancy anyone in the youth teams. And as you say, in that sort of article that came out, it kind of just said as much. He didn't think there was a quality there, and he's not played him. And then that you look at the subs bench against Swansea on the final day. He's named 2 goalkeepers, 5 subs, and no youth team players to fill the bench or anything.
Is that a statement?
Yeah, you won.
A statement? Is that like there must have been a few youngsters he could have just give some experience, even on the bench, maybe not bring it on, but that's all part of the experience, isn't it? The match day and stuff like that.
I think once we were safe and we weren't going into the playoffs, you could have perhaps used some of that young talent. If he believes then that the young players are not good enough, then there's something wrong with the setup, isn't there?
Trust his judgment. Because his background was youth development, so you've got to trust that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like you look at Barbet. Is he going back to France, or are we going to sort of exercise the option he's got on his contract, or what's happening there?
Well, I think Barbet's a mad one, because I was thinking about this today. The budget we have, and I don't think you will name me a better defender and more consistent defender out there for the price tag he is. I don't think you'll get a better one.
Well, if he was available at another club and he was available, we'd be going for him. That's the problem, isn't it? Like, it's kind of a bit like the Warbs argument, a little bit. If Warbs was available and he hadn't been at QPR, is someone similar, we'd be looking to go for him, wouldn't we? It's kind of like that, isn't it?
I can only think it's because he hasn't scored a direct free kick yet. Is that
God, I wonder how many has he tried? Have you got that, Jack?
17.
I just remember his penalty against Sunderland.
We talk about youngsters. What about Sinclair Armstrong?
Yeah. He looks a talent, doesn't he?
You see his goal the other week for when he cuts in, he puts in the top corner. I mean, it's a quality strike, whatever level. And the comments coming out physically, they say he looked ready. It's just
even that though. Just put him on the bench.
Why not start him?
Yeah.
If he's got the physicality, that's half the battle, isn't it, really? Because you only learn the rest by playing at a higher level, don't you? The intelligence and you only learn that. Like, if he's got the physicality and the ability, that's something that.
I think Jimmy Dunn's played out of his skin this year, hasn't he?
Fantastic.
And I think Stefan Johansson has not been as good as we thought it would be. It's not been 100%, has he? Underperformed. But
one player I wanted to just bring up on, I know we talked about him again on a few other pods, but Andre Gray. I mean, for the life of me, can't understand why he hasn't played more games. I mean, I don't
know. Is it something to do with his wages, or if he plays so many games? I don't know. But his wages are going to be astronomical, aren't they, at Watford? But perhaps we need to have a look at that and see if we can try and persuade him to come and sign for us. But he's got to take a drop in wage.
He's a funny odd one, isn't he? Because you look at the all-round game and you don't know if there's enough there to spend the big money on him. But then his goal return is fantastic. Like. It's only Mitrovic among the Championship strikers with a better minutes per goal than Gray.
Right. All season, is it? All season.
Yeah. And 9 away goals, for QPR this season. It's most since Furlong in 2004. Yeah. So he's
scored some vital goals.
But he just hasn't played enough, as you say, Mark.
Which is just, I can never figure it out, because sometimes we're dying to stretch teams, trying to get in behind them. And little Willie in his chair tries and does it, but he's quick over 10 yards, isn't he, or with the ball, but once you go past 10 yards, I mean, he gets caught up quite quickly, doesn't he? He's never going to, break the lines too often. But yeah, I like to have seen him play a lot more.
But that's another one, isn't it? When it comes to strikers, if there's no better strikers out there when we're looking, then we should really be keeping Gray and we'll pay. We won't pay what he wants, but we'll.
Charlie Austin, where's he going?
Well, he's staying in the Championship according to him. So unless he's got someone else lined up, I don't know who, but I reckon some other clubs will snap him up, won't they? They'll be thinking what everyone else thinks is that he's good for a goal.
But why are we letting him go? Why,
Yeah.
But you can argue. You can also argue that he never really had the right balls in the box.
He doesn't suit the way we play, does he?
No,
really?
he never had the right service. So,
but under a new manager, you don't know. He might get that service.
But look, he's leaving a hero, isn't he? I think we could, every QPR fan can appreciate what he's done for the club and the goals he scored, and he probably had a massive influence off the pitch. Think about last year, what he did last year. A lot of that is because of him, I'd imagine. Him.
You watch him. He'll go and join another Championship club and score goals against us next season.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah. It's a shame and obviously you got Lyndon Dykes there again, haven't you, up front?
He's another one they're not playing the right sort of service to, though, isn't he? You see him for Scotland, and they're putting balls in the box from the left.
That's right, yeah.
And you just think the Reading game sticks out with him on 4-0. He's getting crosses in the box and he's getting on the end of it, and you just think, that's how you play with Lyndon Dykes.
Yeah, get the ball in the box.
He's better when he's just instinctive. If you give him any kind of time, he tends not to pick the right choice, does he? So the only way to alleviate that is to get it in the box and just let him knock things on, or do you know what I mean? Grab it.
He's a confidence player, isn't he, though, Dykes? Like you say, instinctive. When the confidence is there, he's got some fantastic finishes in him. But yeah, the two of the three strikers didn't really suit the system, and that's, I think, been a big problem this year.
Yeah,
on the youth players, is there any that we think we could really put into the squad next season? I saw Duke McKenna scored a really good goal as well. Was it? Torquay, was it? Yeah.
I was going to say Jack McKenna. I think obviously you've seen him in the cup a few times this season before he went out on loan, and he always gave 100%. He was putting himself about, and he looked tidy on the ball. I was a bit surprised we let him go out on loan, but then at the same time we had at that time a wealth of central midfielders, and he wasn't necessarily going to get many minutes.
But I think the proof's in the pudding, really, isn't it? If there was any youth players there that were ready,
they'd have played him.
Wolves would have played him. Wolves would have put him on the bench.
Need to get Mark Bertram on. Let us know what's going on.
So I just think on that, I just don't think there's any youth players there that they think they're ready. Otherwise, they would have put him in, surely.
Yeah, but like I said on last week's episode, we wouldn't have played Murphy and Mahoney, would we? At all. He got thrown in because we had no other options, and he did all right. So what's to say another youth player wouldn't do exactly the same?
Yeah,
you've got to give players a chance to have a run at a game at this level.
We've missed that chance.
Yeah,
because you can't do that start of next season. You can't. You just cannot do it. You just cannot do it. We've missed that chance.
You've got Masterson and Kelman as well at Gillingham. We got relegated. The fans said they did okay. I bet they weren't. They didn't do amazing. Didn't do poorly, but there are another two that you'll think will be in and around.
Have we got a lad at Torquay?
Duke McKenna.
That's the Duke McKenna,
yeah. So I watched him on Saturday in the Torquay Chesterfield game. Was it Saturday? Yeah.
Yeah, he scored. Quite a good goal.
Yeah, he scored a good goal. Yeah. See, they're the sort of players that you let them out on loan, but then you pull them. I don't know if it was a season-long loan or how long, but they're the sort of players that need to be given an opportunity in the last few games of the season to see what they can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I guess he was fighting for his job, wasn't he, Wolves? That's the thing, though, isn't it? It's the pressure that comes with the job and QPR and where we were.
I think we were punching above our weight. I have to say, if we're perfectly honest, where we were third in the table, we were punching above our weight, weren't we? With what they've done considerably well, remarkably well with the squad we had, and to be third in February in the league. I think it was February time, and then we hit that terrible run of form where we just couldn't buy a win, could we?
Yeah, it's just like an accumulation of lots of different factors, you feel, don't you? That kind of just one big melting pot, and we just couldn't turn it around. People point to injuries. Some people say, well, actually, those people you're talking about got injured, weren't playing well before. But I think it's just, you take Willock out of, the Willock equivalent of Huddersfield. How would they get on? Are they?
Brilliant. Willock has been outstanding, hasn't he? Chris Willock, special.
He's come on as well, developed quite nicely under the Warburton and co. But no, I think he's one of the assets, isn't he? We've got to either sell.
That's right, yeah.
That could be a worry, because if Wolves goes anywhere else, he could be saying, "I want Chris Willock on any form. Get me Chris Willock."
I don't think he's going to go to anybody.
I can't see Wolves going to a Prem club.
No, I don't think anybody else can afford him.
Can you see him? Well, can you see him going to another Championship club?
I can, yeah. I can. Is it Birmingham or they're going to be looking for a manager? I don't know why I could see him at someone like a Birmingham. I don't know why. I think Charlton are after him as well, aren't they?
Charlton, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's correct. But he's going to be in demand. His reputation's not been damaged at all at QPR. It's
not at all. If you look at it really, with what we got, he's done remarkably well.
And I'm just talking about Willock there, though. If this what I'm reading is true about Usic going to Watford, well, Watford are coming down next season, so he could want Willock.
Yeah, you wouldn't be surprised if Eustace picked out a couple of QPR players, like a Jimmy Dunn, for example, that might not be well.
If Usic does go to Watford, because they are going down, he knows QPR players very well, he could say, "I want Willock, I want Dunn." There's nothing stopping him going in for him.
Would Eustace not be a good option for us? Or do you think because it's part of the same regime, we need a fresh change from the board's point of view?
Yeah, I think so. I think the board, like you say, Wolves has left us in a better position than when he took over, which is great. And what's interesting is the board have said in their statements that they want us, they need someone to come in now to take us on. So to do that, we need someone to be able to do that. This is why I find it really odd that we're going after players like the Newport County manager. I don't understand how he can take us to that next level. Even the Liam Manning looks a talent manager, but what would he bring that a Warburton couldn't? I guess that's where I need to understand. I don't know about anyone else.
Well, I don't understand why I'd like to know the real reasons why he's going. That's there's nothing come out to say why he's going. He's not said anything. He's not any interviews, or Les has not come out and said anything.
Come out of the wash.
Reading that article, it said there was a relationship difficulties, weren't there, between him and Les.
Oh,
I don't know how much of that's true.
It goes back to the youth, doesn't it? And it goes back to, I guess, from QPR's perspective. We buy a lot of 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, don't we? 22-year-olds, and try and polish them up. And is that the way that we're going to go, or are we going to go with this youth, new training ground youth? I think we just need to decide what it is that we're going to do. We seem to be a bit limbo.
Yeah, I don't think you can chuck the youth in so early. Otherwise, we'll be in trouble. You've got to get experienced players that know the Championship. That's what we've got to do, and he's got to be given a budget. We need money if we're going to compete with the top teams. You look at the teams coming down: Norwich, Watford, could be Leeds, could be anybody, couldn't it? I mean, you don't get those parachute payments they get of 90 million or whatever it is, 70, 90 million. So they've got the money there to get the players in and pay the players the wages to get them back up, and we just can't compete with them. And so he's got to be given money. The new manager's got to be given money and a budget to bring in some quality players. Otherwise, we're going to struggle next season and we're going to battle relegation if we don't.
But I think to get that budget in our situation, it is you do have to sell someone this summer, possibly. Not. I don't think we'll get like Eze figures for anyone, but you think we might have to sell one player, like a Willock or a Chair.
You can't. Yeah, you can't. I suppose, I don't know, even...
I don't want to, but,
We need to keep those players, though. We can't afford to let those players go.
No.
If you're looking to push to get promotion or get up into those playoffs, you cannot let your top players go. You just can't.
But another thing is, though, Championship is a tough league, and I know budget is a massive thing in football. I get it. I understand that. Bournemouth, Fulham. But you've got Luton in the playoffs. Luton in the Championship, they're in the playoffs. They haven't got a massive budget. So it's doable. And that team we've got there, a fit team there. Obviously, we've got a few losses now, but there's no reason why we can't get out there.
We've got Huddersfield as well. Their budget's pretty small, isn't it? Blackburn's not massive either. It's just these clubs that come down. It's so difficult to compete with them. It's ridiculous. You look at the Fulham and the Bournemouth. What was their squad? Like 200 million dunk or something stupid like that. And you just can't compete with that, can you? No. And they're getting more money as well than us every season for 3 seasons as well. On top of that,
if Leeds come down as well, Jesus.
The budget they'll have as well. Yeah. we've got to keep the player. We've got to keep those good players. We just cannot let them go. We just cannot sell them. And Les has got to. pull his finger out and get some decent, some good players in that's going to have us challenging for playoff, or even, if we do challenge to go up, we still need a lot of money to stay. If you get that, like you look at Fulham, Bournemouth, whoever goes up with them, they have to spend. If they don't spend, look at Norwich. Norwich, they're like a yo-yo club, aren't they? Norwich, West Brom, Norwich would go up, and same, they go up and come back down again. They go up and down because they don't spend the money. So I think they're quite happy with being a yo-yo club.
But do you not think that comes from when we did go up and we did spend all that money?
We had managers there, spending money like there was no tomorrow, weren't they? Like when Mark Hughes was there, he was bringing some of the,
But we spent money then and it didn't work.
No,
but that's the thing
but we spent money on players that were coming to the end of their careers.
Yeah.
That was the problem. We spent money on players that were finishing their careers.
Yeah, it's all about spending that money wisely, isn't it? You can't just throw it at any old name who's been in the Premier League for like 9 years, because they're over the hill. They're looking for a payday. You need to kind of get the right balance of a youngster or a youngish, middle-aged kind of player to come in. But I mean, realistically, I think for us, the Premier League's at least 3 or 4 years away as a realistic time.
Absolutely.
We've been saying that for years, though, Doug. We've been saying that for. It's 3 years ago.
We're nowhere near the parachute payments, so are we? If you look at the team most likely to go up from the playoffs, it's probably going to be Sheffield United, and they're still getting parachute payments. Or that'll be all 3 teams that have gone up will getting parachute payments. You just can't compete. It's impossible.
No, you can't. That goes on for 2-3 years, doesn't it? Is it 2?
Yeah.
2? Yeah. I think. Personally, I think the Premier League should stop those parachute payments.
Yeah,
they should stop it, and it gives everybody else a fighting chance.
It's back to Mark's point around spending money. We've got to give it. For me, we can't just keep accepting mediocrity and thinking that we're around a 16th budget. As long as we're around there, we'll be all right. But eventually, we won't be. One season we won't be, and we'll fall down.
No.
Like, it's got to be. At some point, we've got to roll the dice, and I guess I don't know. I thought it would have been in January, if I'm honest. I thought that was a perfect opportunity to do it.
Well, this side of Christmas just proved the point that we're not good enough.
No,
we're nowhere near good enough to make those playoff places. So, that's the alarm bells. Sort it out, board. Sort it out. Give the new manager some money, and let's get our team back where we belong.
Yeah, they've really got to nail this managerial appointment, haven't they? They've got to get it done. You've got to get it right.
Yeah, I mean, Wolves has come out with a reputation not tarnished in any way, shape, or form, has he? And the board are under a lot of stress to get this one right more than ever, I think. And if they don't get it right, some questions are going to be asked. I wonder whether that's where they're clearing the deck. I wonder. Austin, not completely clearing it. So whoever comes in has literally got a bit of money, a bit of, some big earners off the wage.
You get your key core players that we talked about, and keep those, and then add to it. With the high end, it's gone.
Wolves men have gone as well, haven't they? Bull, Barbe, well, potentially, but Wallace. These are real key Wolves men, weren't they? Maybe even Austin as well. I don't know, but maybe he was a big advocate for Wolves as well. And
I think a big question for me is on Barbe is why do they leave it till the end of the season to let them know if they're going to have a new contract or not? I know that these are footballers. I know their mums and dad, their dad's at home, their family's at home. Why do they get told last minute if we are going to keep Barbe? Why are we leaving him so late?
Well, because if you think if we'd made the playoffs though, and we'd got promoted somehow, would we just necessarily say we're going to definitely keep Barbe, or would we try and bring someone else in who's got Premier League quality? That's the problem, isn't it? That's the gamble. Do you then give all these players contracts thinking we won't go up, but then somehow we do? And we've got 34-year-old Lee Wallace at left back, and we need a new left back because he's nowhere near good enough to be in the Prem.
But we knew he wasn't going up a while ago.
Yeah. I knew.
Well, but mathematically it wasn't, though, was it?
I could have told you we weren't going up to start the season.
But I think
you can't tell these players early,
doesn't it?
You can't tell some of these players early because they'll just stop playing. They won't give 100%, will they? If you go to 6 of these players, by the way, we're probably not going to renew your contract 2 months ago. What are you going to get out of them for the last 2 months? A lesser performance.
Imagine you
will naturally.
Imagine you're at your own job and your boss says to you, do you know what? We've got a contract in 6 months. You're off though because we don't need you after that. you're going to think, well, why should I bother working my ass off for 6
But
months?
you can
I'll do the minimum. I'm still getting
not
paid.
the minimum, but it'll be in your head, won't it? You know,
Exactly.
But you can tell that Barbet is not that sort of person. He'll give you his all, as he has done.
Yeah.
He's the sort of person that will give, even if you give him a contract, he didn't give him a contract, he'd be like, I want to play for this club. He loves the club. You can see how much it means to him, the club. And, you know, if he does go, it talks like he's going to France. But I just think if we do keep him, why are we leaving him so late? I don't agree with that.
You know, when they say that they're opening, you know, discussions now, and you think, is it going to be an actual offer? Or is it just going to be like a token? Here's a reduced wage, and then he turns down. And the club
should have been done before the season finished.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Well, if you're going to keep him, most definitely. No, I agree. If you're going to keep someone, definitely. But if you're not really planning on it, it's I don't know.
He's not old either. He's 28. Like he's
still
a valuable asset.
Like,
no?
Prime age for a centre back as well, isn't he? Really.
Yeah, I just hope that Wolves' decision was a massive shock, but just hope it don't come back to bite us on the backside.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, he could go somewhere quick and go and get Barbet. Mark, I've just thought of a really good question for you. Actually, it's just popped into my head, right? And it's around the refereeing in the Championship, right? It's one thing that bugs me every other week, right? They're just, I don't know. I'm sure everyone on this call will agree, or I'm sure you will as well. The standard just feels so poor.
I think
so many mistakes.
I mean, I think you can look at that all through the leagues. I think in the last, since Mike Riley took charge of the PGMO, I think the standard of officiating has just gone down in the last 8 years. I really do. I remember watching us against Sunderland, and the assistant flagged our goal offside, and I had to rewind it, watch it, rewind it, watch it, rewind it. How's he given that offside? You know, when we played, was it Sunderland? Yeah, it was Sunderland.
In the cup,
we went out in Paris. I mean, was it Charlie Austin? He flagged Charlie Austin.
Yeah.
I mean, how on earth? It was never offside. He never ever was offside.
And he was in line, wasn't he? He was in line.
He was never ever offside. But I think the standard has fallen quite considerably, and I think that's down to, I always say, good coaches turn average players into good players into excellent players. That's no different with refereeing coaches. And the problem we've got is we haven't got the quality in the coaching system to bring referees through the ranks and maintain their performance at the top level.
Mark, I read an article. I don't know how much of this is true. I wanted to ask you. Are you good friends with Ian Holloway?
Yeah, we've messaged, and I've refereed his teams over the years, and
so I read. It says here, I read that. It says Mark is a really good friend of mine. He used to be a QPR fan. He's so honest that he told his bosses that he never wanted to referee QPR again. I wished he had done, because I needed some help when I was there.
Well, I ran the line there. Obviously, all my family from East Acton, Shepherd's Bush. That's where my family are from, East Acton. And as I say, I've grown up being a QPR fan, and my uncle was the first ever professional game I went to see was at Loftus Road. And so it was, coming, obviously being a player, I played non-league football many years as a goalkeeper, and then turned to refereeing, God knows why. But lucky for me, it turned out all right. I was never, ever wanting to be a referee. And I'd done a couple of lines there in the Premier League. I got promoted pretty quickly, went through the system. Do you remember the game we played? We were fighting for our lives. QPR Man United, and the referee played 9 minutes extra time.
Eric Cantona, wasn't it?
Cantona.
Yeah, Cantona. And I was at the end where he'd come and scored in. I wanted to put my flag up for offside. I thought, I can't. I was going... Referee, it was Robbie. I forget the name of the referee from the northeast. Robbie, it come to me, but I'm going, where's he found 9 minutes? Where on earth has he found 9 minutes from?
Well, you on the line, were you?
I was on the line. Yeah, I was on the line. Yeah,
wow.
I was assistant. Yeah, I was on the line that game. And I remember walking off the pitch, really come off to some abuse. And I'm thinking, boy, lads, I'm a QPR fan. But listen, but I remember that. I mean, it took us ages. We had to have a police escort out of the ground. Jesus, they wanted to roast him in the referee. Oh,
you're allowed to run the line then on the team that you support. I guess you're not allowed to referee.
Back in those days, it wasn't as strict. Do you know what I mean? And I think once we got to 2000 to 2001, we become professional. That's when it sort of, you sort of had to say, although I lived in Welling Garden City, I was still quite some way from, I used to travel up, and watch QPR from Welling Garden on the train. So yeah, it wasn't until we become professional, then it started getting more and more stricter. But even though I was a QPR fan, even when I crossed that white line, that was it. I was refereeing 2 teams, because I refereed them against Portsmouth and Loftus Road. QPR won 1-0 that day. Then I refereed them against Huddersfield in the FA Cup third round, and QPR got beat 1-0 that day. So, then after that, I thought that that's it. It's time to sort, because it started getting pretty serious then with media and interest in what teams referees supported. So that's when I sort of declared my interest to save any. But to say, as a referee, you never question a referee's integrity. Once you've crossed that white line, you're refereeing 2 football teams, irrespective if you're, you support a team or not.
So Mark, is that one of the questions they you have to they ask you, what football team do you support when you become?
You have to. You have to declare that, and rightly so. Rightly so.
Mark, I've got a bit of a 2-part question for you. So, who was the worst manager you dealt with, and who was the hardest player to officiate, on the pitch?
Oh well, I mean, I mean, to be honest with you, I always got on with all the managers, all the players. Yeah, you'd have your moments with managers. You'd have your moments with players, because the players get to know you. You get to know the players because you're refereeing the same teams and the same players, most probably week in, week out, month in, month out. So because being in the Premier League, you're always refereeing those teams all the time. You have a referee and all your full officials, so you see them all the time. And I made some good friends as well. You don't mean to say we can't make friends, because 15 years in the Premier League, you get to know the guys at the same kit man and the same faces in the back, work in the back rooms. So I think, one of them. Neil Warnock was the one. I mean, listen, I always got on well with Neil. I mean, listen, we had our moments. Me and Neil, and we ended up working together on BT Sport. And we become the best of friends. So, and we still speak occasionally now. But I always remember refereeing these teams. I remember him one day, he knocked on my door. Referee Sheffield United, and he knocked on the door, and bang bang. He went, Mark. He opened the door. Mark, it's Neil. I said, Neil, I don't want to speak to you. Go away. Go away. And he said, Mark, I just want to come in and tell you what a good game I thought you had. I went, I'll come in, Neil. When you come on, I'll have a cup of tea. But then there was another time I refereed. He was manager at Leeds, Millwall Leeds. I refereed them games a few times. Thought they were tough games, and it was at the New Den. It was a Sky game, and I sent one of his players off for an elbow, and he thought I should have given him a penalty. And after the game, it's when I just come back from illness, battling cancer, and he come onto all the players come out. Great game, I really enjoyed it, no problem. And he come running on the pitch. Get away! Don't shake his hand. Get away! Get away! He was effing and jeffing at me. If there was a time I wanted to smack a manager, it was then. It was then. I tell you. Because obviously you got to control yourselves, but because I did what I'd gone through and I battled cancer, and he'd come on and told his players not to shake my hands, and I was absolutely fuming. And I was walking into the dressing room. There's this great big guy at Mill who stands in front of the referee's dressing room. And I just said to him, if Neil Warnock tries to come in my dressing room, don't let him in. I don't want him in. He went, don't worry about that, Mark. I'll make sure that won't happen. And then with that, I was furious. So I got straight onto the FA and I got him a £2,000 fine.
You became friends after?
When we worked at BT together, he said to me, he said, Mark, what was that? What was that £2,000 fine about? When I told him why. And he said, why didn't you let me in your dressing room? And I told him why. And then we had a laugh and a joke. But we got on really, really well together when we used to do the BT show on a Monday night. Off the pitch, he's a fabulous guy. And he wears his heart on the sleeve. And I think, to be honest, we got on well. We always got on well. We always used to say a few things to each other, but we shook hands and walked away and had a drink afterwards after the game. But I think the games. I mean, it was great when he was our manager. It was brilliant. It was because when he was our manager, I thought, great, I won't have to referee his teams anymore. But as I say, I mean, he's a legend, isn't he? And the game would be lost. We saw, the game was sorely missing, and the game it's a loss not having Neil Warnock involved shouting at referees on a Saturday afternoon. I always remember sending him off as well when he was at. Because when they come up into the Premier League, I refereed the team in the Championship, both Sheffield United and Leeds, and then Sheffield United and Reading, and then the following season I had them at Reading and. Keith, I remember second half. Keith Gillespie came on, throwing. The game ain't restarted, and he already elbowed Stephen up before we'd even restarted the game. So Keith Gillespie was on for 2 seconds, and I sent him off, giving him a red card. And I ended up sending Wally Downs off and Neil Warnock to the stands. Unbelievable.
I've got 6 quick fire questions for you. Favourite team when refereeing?
Favourite team? Listen, I didn't have no favourite teams. I just, as I say, I when I refereed whatever league I refereed in, the league referees in game teams in League One, League Two just deserve just the best referees as the Premier League does. And there's more. There's life outside the Premier League. There's life outside the Premier League.
A Saint player who never gave you any issues.
A player
never give you any issues.
Who never give me any issues? Just trying to think of his name now. He was captain at Ipswich Town. Started at Charlton.
Matty Holland.
Matt Holland.
Matty Holland. Great player to referee. Yeah. Absolute gentleman of the game.
My next question, obviously, is most moaning manager, but I think we've covered that.
Well, they all moan. All the managers moan when things go against them. And the player that always used to get in your ear was Craig Bellamy. Oh, geez, Craig Bellamy. Oh my word.
Have you ever had a manager who's never moaned there? Always, you know what I mean? Never, just fine. Never moaned.
I've always. There's always been I get on well with a lot of managers. I do speak to certain managers still. But listen, as I said before, managers will always have a go. Don't matter how well you get on with them, because their passion. There's passion for the game, and that's the problem we have with referees today. They don't understand the frustrations of players and managers, and they don't show enough empathy for the game when needed. So I think that's a learning thing for young referees coming through. That just because I trained at Bolton Wanderers for many years full time. When I become full time, I trained there, and players are just the same on a training pitch as they are on a football pitch. And it was good to get to know that how they vent their frustrations and things like that, and their passion for the game, even in training. So I think that. I think that I got on well with all managers, and they're listen. If things go against them on that given day and that game, then they will say something to you.
And then my last one is best match you've ever refereed that stands out to you.
My best match that I've ever refereed. There's just one that stands out for me. Listen, I've refereed many games over my career, many top derbies, top games, international, abroad, all over the world. And there's one game that stands out for me when I was diagnosed with my cancer. I was told I'd never ever referee again, never ever referee again. And obviously coming back through the reserve section of the Football League and the actual Football League, and then back into the Premier League. And my first game back in the Premier League was Wigan, Blackpool, and the reception I got was unbelievable. But before that, I'd done a pre-season friendly at Goodison Park, Everton versus Everton Chile, and there was about 30,000 at that game. And the ovation I got from that football club and the way they looked after me and my family was fantastic. And it is the people's club. They care about people. Everton Football Club is a wonderful football club. Because they invited me to do that friendly, so it was a great. My daughter was dressed up as a toffee girl, throwing toffees into the crowd. She loved it.
Nice touch.
Nice. I think we could ask you questions all evening, Mark. But I think we're going to try and get back to QPR and what's happened. And I've got some questions around the season. I thought, what the first one to ask is the most memorable moment of the season. It doesn't have to be good, bad. It could be anything.
I think for me, it was great seeing us beat Everton in the.
Yeah.
That was great on penalties. That was brilliant. It was a great game. Shame we went out to Sunderland in the next round. I couldn't believe that. I think it was Sunderland next round, wasn't it? Yeah. But I think for me as well, the 4-0 home game against Reading, I thought, we just absolute. I mean, that's one of the best. And I know they were struggling at the time, but we played some great football, fantastic football in that game. And I think the 4-0 win with them, and obviously the way we beat Everton as well was great. So
that's
and obviously climbing up to third in the table was brilliant. And I think if you look at while we're criticising our performance in the latter stages, in February, March, and April, I think if you look at a lot of the games where we conceded very, very late goals. And if we hadn't switched off in those games, who knows? We may have just sneaked into the playoffs. But I think that for memorable, I think for me is that those two games. While we've had some great home games and some great home wins, but I think beating Everton in the League Cup and then that 4-0 defeat, and obviously going up, seeing them away at Derby, watching the game there, going down 1-0 early on, and then coming back and winning 2-1, and honestly, away win at Swansea was great last game of the season. So it's just hope that we can, pick ourselves up and get a good manager, and let's get these players that we've got now that we're talking to, get them back on, get them signed, and for next season, because without them, we could be. Someone said to me like at the start of the season, a friend of mine was big QPR fans. What's your expectations for this season? And I said, for me, stay outside the bottom three. That was my, for me, if we'd have stayed outside the bottom three and done well mid-table, I think that would have been a good season for us, a very good season, and that's where we are. And I think if you look at it, and if you look at the money that Mark's had, he's had no money to spend, and it's just like loan players and players that we've already got. So I think on the whole, I don't think we as fans we can complain with our league position.
Yeah, you took mine there. I had the grey one on my list. Jack, what did you have?
I had the Charlie Austin late winner against West Brom at home.
I had that written down as well.
Bench, he scored, and Barbe got thrown into the advertising boardings, and he had the bandage and all that. But the Austin winner, I thought that night. I thought, I think we could do this. We could get playoffs. Yeah. Oops.
Yeah. I tell you
what about you or Brad? What do you reckon?
Well, I would have gone Coventry away just because of the day out, and it was brilliant. But I have got a memorable thing this season that happened. One of the family members I took to football with me, LG Road, fell down the stairs, and it was Hull at home, and we.
Had he been drinking?
Yeah, we was a bit drunk, and anyway, I spent the whole game watching it in the medical room, and it's lovely, cup of tea. It was lovely in there, but they wouldn't release him because I was too intoxicated, apparently. But that'd be a memory.
Looks like you still are with your hair like that.
Dunk, what do you think, mate? Most memorable?
So I had the Derby away game with the grey, worldy, and also the West Brom home game. Like I was there, the atmosphere after Charlie's winner, it was like Loftus Road was just rocking. And like Jack said, I really felt then that was the momentum that was going to push us on and hopefully secure that playoff place. But obviously,
I had Peterborough down as well. Not as a good memorable, but just a memorable moment was the Peterborough at home. The second half.
You're joking, aren't you?
No, only as a moment that I remember.
You're having a giraffe.
Not a good moment. I meant a moment that just seemed to like.
I turned that off.
Well, exactly.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Through the bloody remote control of the TV.
Yeah, that's just for me. That was just where it seemed to completely fall apart for me. But anyway, I wrote that down anyway.
Not that you look at the downs. Barnsley away. Peterborough away twice, FA Cup and League.
There's Cardiff at home. And then we lost, didn't we?
What about overperformer of the season then, Jack? Who have you had for that?
I put Luke Amos because I thought that coming off the back of two ACL injuries, he's getting integrated into the team. We're not sure what sort of player we're left with. I thought he did really well. He popped up some really key goals, won quite a few points with his goals. It was just nice to see one of a player that we're supposed to be developing actually get in the team, because there was people that got brought in front of him, and when he played, I thought he overperformed. He got goals we didn't expect him to get. So yeah, go with Amos.
He's the one who we need to develop. Like the next development. You had Cher, didn't you? Easy. He could be like that next one that we just needs to take that next step up. Good one though, mate. Brad, what about you, mate?
So I had a 50-50, to be honest, with Phil.
Well, that haircut.
With Field and Dunn. But I've gone for Jimmy Dunn.
Yeah. Ditto.
Yeah.
Dunn. I think, well, he's got to be proud of the season, as he was rock solid and has become a real leader in his short time at the R's. So I'm with you, Jimmy Dunn.
That's what I put in my little notes. I said, hopefully one day it'd be good to see him as skipper. I think he's got it in him.
Oh, well,
Doug?
did we agree on one thing, pal?
Yeah. Doug, did you have Dunn as well, did you say?
I had Jimmy Dunn as one of them. I also had Chrissy Willock. I know, because for me, we know there was a player there, but the step up he's made this season compared to last season is absolutely massive, isn't it? And he was outstanding for us for up until he got injured, Chrissy Willock. And I feel like I wasn't expecting him to reach the levels he did this season. So I've done him for overperformer.
I thought someone was going to say George Thomas. If anyone was going to say him. Jack, did you get any stats on him, mate? Any on his impact?
Well, he's yet to score in 30-odd games, isn't he? But he's got a couple. The backside assist was his probably memorable moment, wasn't it?
I can't even take that. Me and Duncan had an argument about that. I said he had no assists, and he clung on to that.
I think
it counts.
Set up Amos, didn't he, against Blackpool? That was quite a good little crossing. He's one of those. He's a trier, but I get Connor Washington vibes from him. Like he works hard. He gets in good positions, doesn't quite finish it. But I still think there's a player in there. I do. I've got molding up hope on him, but you would have thought he had opportunities this season to maybe, get a few goals, and he didn't. So can the next manager get a bit more out of him?
What about underperformer? I think we all may well have the same person here.
I'm going Johansson. I don't want to say it because I feel a bit harsh, but it's got to be in there. It's got to be.
Who said that?
Johansson.
Brad. Same. Ditto. And it is water in here, not wine. Okay.
You expect more from your captain, don't you? I don't know what you thought.
I had a list for underperformers, and Steph was on it, but I also had Rob Dickey. Going from player of the year the season before, being rock solid. He had a brilliant August, but for me, I don't feel like he got anywhere near what he did last year for us this season. I was expecting him to really push on and be one of the best centre-backs in the league this year, and it hasn't happened. Whether that's just... there's a thing going around about players being really, really good during lockdown with no fans, and I feel Dickey was one of those. I felt like maybe sometimes the atmospheres in grounds played a part in him. We were there, obviously, Bournemouth away, when he had that slip at the start of the season, and after that,
that's where it went wrong.
Dropped.
Yeah, that's where it went wrong.
And I feel it was almost that confidence that you always like the fans got on his back a little bit after that, and so yeah, for me, under a form, I thought Dickey was on there.
It's a good point because perhaps players freeze under that atmosphere. It's like referees. I mean, when there was no one there was no pressure, but now the pressure with all the crowd back, and Loftus Road is rocking, isn't it? It rocks like there's no other ground in the championship that rocks like it does at Loftus Road, because it's so close. It used to be. I remember you used to refereeing at West Ham. You had that chicken run down there. So close, and you dang go over near the chicken run because you get all the pies thrown at you, or you get those are stuff chucked at you. So I used to go nowhere near it and left it to my sisters to sort all the troubles out over there. But no, it's great. It was great that we've come out of this pandemic and all the crowds are back and everybody's enjoying the football and the game. It's just fabulous to see that the grounds are full up all the way around, and I think there's more people or more spectators watch the Championship what there is in Serie A in Italy.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what Serie A is that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure about that.
So we got signing of the season, Jack. Any...
Well, we've mentioned him a few times, but Jimmy Dunn for me. I think Dunn of the season, free transfer. He came in, his interview was like, what's the target? And he was like, promotion. And I just thought, I love that. I love the attitude. I love that you're confident. And I think if you come in with confidence, I think you've got a good chance of hitting the ground running. And he took his chance when he got in the team after Device got another one of his injuries. And I just thought he grew into that middle position at the back, big, imposing in the air. We missed the sort of, he's fairly mobile, but he's quite mobile, imposing defender that can get about. And I thought his work on the ball improved as the season went on. And I think we've got a player on our hands. And as you guys have both mentioned, I think there's a potential skipper in there as well.
Yeah.
And, an Irish international. If he's already made one squad, he didn't get on, but I think he's nailed on. He'll start playing for them soon as well. So Jimmy Dunn for me, good business.
Any other different player? Anyone got anyone else? Other than Jimmy Dunn?
Same. I think Chris Willock as well. He's special, isn't he? He's got everything. He's got the ability. He can score goals. He can open defences up. He can play that ball. That killer pass. His position, his movement, his reading of the game, his anticipation of play. Yeah, so just like I say, it's Jimmy as well. If we have 11 Jimmys in the team, we won't go far wrong.
What about match of the season? I've got Luton at home down. That's what I've got down. I was there, and I thought, the fans. It was just a real cracking atmosphere, and it was like Friday night we were rocking then as well. That's the one. That was my favourite. Any others?
Well, I mean, it's a bit difficult for me to see games from here, but come over and find. But I mean, I don't know. I think if you're looking from afar, I think although we lost at Peterborough, the FA Cup side where we took 4,000 fans away, the atmosphere must have been electrifying with 4,000 fans at Peterborough travelling up the A1 to go and to support their team. Unfortunately, we lost 2-1, but 4,000 fans, take 4,000 fans to away to an FA Cup tie is fantastic.
We were there on the home game, and I've got to say, it is the worst away end I have ever seen in my life. At Dunk Creek went, didn't we? The toilets were in the ground.
I think you're forgetting we went to Luton away.
Peterborough's worse.
I think Peterborough was worse, like it was awful. Luton's bad though. Luton, God. Oh my God. You literally think you're going to someone's house, don't you? It's mad.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Jack, any favourite match of the season?
I think again we've touched upon it already, but it's either the Everton or Reading home games for me. They were my favourite games of the season by a distance. I was going to say Luton. If I remember the Luton game at home, I felt like they were on top, and we kind of scored only 2 shots on target, and we scored. So it wasn't like a snatch and grab, but like Luton were a bit unlucky that night, I thought as well. But still a good win against like a team that we've got a bit of history with. But no, I think Reading complete performance. Everton for the atmosphere and knocking out, a Premier League side is special at Loftus Road. So
Coventry away.
Oh, Coventry away was good.
Reading away as well.
That was good.
Oh, Reading away.
Some good ones there. Some good ones. What about lowest moment of the season then, Jack? Any thoughts on that?
Well, I had that run of when I was able to get back to the ground after the surgery. The run of games, it was like Peterborough, Cardiff at home, and it was just like I kept seeing them lose after going ahead. It was like, it's definitely me. I cursed them. No, I thought I think the Cardiff when Warburton was trying to make some subs and he was getting booed, and it was like the whole crowd like reacting because he was taking off Jimmy Dunn and it was a mistake on the board, and they had to reverse that. I thought that was a bit of a watershed moment. I thought the fans turned on him a bit, and then so it's Peter. You can't lose to Peter 3 times in a season.
No. Hang on, and Barnsley. They were bottom.
They're a bogey team for us, Barnsley.
We always lose to Barnsley, always.
So I'd say Peterborough. I'll go Peterborough.
We forgot to mention in a good, one of the best games, Millwall. It was when we were all allowed back in.
Yeah.
First game of the season.
Game of the season. We all forgot to mention that. That was a blind
0-0, wasn't it? 0-0.
No,
That was 1-1.
1-1.
Was it 1-1? Oh, yeah,
Rob Dickie scored a screamer.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Jed Wallace scored, didn't he, down the loft end?
Down the loft, yeah.
Goal, and then
Yeah.
Dick runs out from the back.
Dickie, yeah.
Well, yeah.
It was a hot day, wasn't it? And there was ticket
Yeah.
issues. There were loads of ticket issues.
No, it was the scanning the stuff on it, like
yeah.
couldn't get in.
Yeah. All right. What I want is, I just want a yes or no, right, from everyone about Warb's decision. Do you think that right now, do you think it was the right decision to move him on? Yes or no? Dunk, just a yes or no. I don't know.
Yes.
Brad?
I'm sitting on the fence.
I can't. I'm going to say.
Stop getting splinters.
I'm going to say yes until I find out the manager. I think I've confused myself.
Should I
hard,
stay
mate.
or should I go
It's not
now?
Nice thing. Mark, what do you think? You're on stay on the fence? What are you swaying to? You must be swaying one way.
Listen, he's done a terrific job. I think had he not gone on that losing streak through February, March, and obviously April, I think he would still be in a job.
No.
But he wasn't given the sufficient funds to strengthen the team, so you can't blame Wolves. You can't blame him, and you got to look at the people above him. So I'm a little bit disappointed that he is going, but obviously they felt it's a change. We've got to move on. So let's look to next season and
See if we
let's move on.
Jack, what do you think, mate? Yes, we haven't really spoke to you too much.
Well, I think, I can see both sides of it. If it's a simple yes or no answer, I think it's the wrong decision right now, where we are with the short turnaround of next season.
Yeah.
A lot of players in flux. I just think it's a bit messy. It's a bit of a messy end of the season. So right now I feel like guts saying no, but I do see why they would get rid of him.
I can see that, but give him that chance to start the new season. May give him the funds to bring in the players that we need. Give him the funds and see where we land in September, October, November.
I think if the rumours are true that there was that disagreement or unrest between the board and the manager, I'm not too sure. The board will always stay, won't they? So you just can't keep that going into next season, really, regardless of whether he's done a good job or not. I'm not sure you can keep that. I think it will rear its head again later on down the line.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, lads, we'll leave it there. Thanks for everyone coming on. Mark, Jack, come on again next season, please. And
Really? Yep.
yeah, let's hope we get the right man in the summer, and we'll go again next season.
Mark, I hope to see you with this haircut next time.
You're joking, mate. Mine's going.
All right, guys, have a great evening.
Take care, guys. All the best.
Cheers.
See you later, guys.
See you later. Yours.
Go on, you.